Let me tell you something that no one on CNN, no one on Fox News, no one in the halls of Washington or Tel Aviv or Tehran wants you to understand. Because if you understand it, truly understand it, the entire illusion of this war, this so-called clash of civilizations, this grand moral crusade against nuclear evil, collapses like a house of cards in a hurricane. There is one country sitting in a very comfortable chair right now, watching this whole Middle East burn, quietly smiling, refilling its glass, and getting richer by the hour. And it is not America. And it is not Israel. And it is certainly not Iran. Before I tell you who it is, I want you to think like a historian, not like a journalist who tells you what happened yesterday, not like a politician who tells you what they want you to feel. Think like someone who looks at centuries, not news cycles. Because history is not a collection of accidents. History is a chessboard, and the players who win are not the ones making the loudest moves. They are the ones who set up the board 3 moves before the game even begins. Now, I have been studying geopolitics for over 2 decades. I have lived in China. I have watched the United States from the inside and the outside. I have watched how empires behave when they feel threatened. And I have watched how rising powers behave when they sense opportunity. And what is happening right now in the Middle East is not a war about nuclear weapons. It is not a war about terrorism. It is not even a war about Israel's security. Those are the costumes this war is wearing. What this war is actually about is the final desperate attempt by a declining empire to control the one thing that keeps its financial system alive: energy flows. Think about what happened on February 28, 2026. The United States and Israel launched nearly 900 strikes in 12 hours. They killed the supreme leader of Iran. They assassinated top generals. They bombed nuclear sites, missile facilities, military infrastructure. The scale of it was twice the firepower of shock and awe in Iraq in 2003. Twice. And yet here we are more than a month later. And the Iranian regime has not collapsed. The Strait of Hormuz is partially blocked. Oil is above $90 a barrel. American soldiers are dying in Kuwait, in Bahrain, in Iraq. Hezbollah is firing rockets into northern Israel again. Lebanon is being invaded again. And the United States cannot rally a single major ally to its side. Ask yourself a simple question: who benefits? Not emotionally, not ideologically. Who benefits structurally, financially, strategically? When you ask that question with cold, clear eyes, the answer points in one direction and one direction only. It points to Beijing. China is not in this war. China has not fired a single missile. China has not sent a single soldier. China has not even raised its voice, particularly loudly, at the United Nations. And yet China is winning this war more decisively than any military power on the battlefield. Let me show you exactly how, layer by layer, because this is not simple. And anyone who tells you it is simple is either lying to you or has not done the homework. The first layer is energy. China is the world's largest importer of oil. For decades, this was considered China's greatest strategic vulnerability. If America controlled the Persian Gulf, if America controlled the sea lanes, if America could squeeze the Strait of Hormuz, it could theoretically strangle the Chinese economy. This was a foundational pillar of American grand strategy. Henry Kissinger understood it. Zbigniew Brzezinski understood it. Every serious American strategist understood that controlling Middle Eastern energy was fundamentally about containing China. Now look at what is happening. The Strait of Hormuz is disrupted, but China signed long-term energy deals with Russia after 2022. China has been building pipelines through Central Asia for years. China has diversified its energy supply precisely because it anticipated this moment. Meanwhile, the disruption hurts Europe, hurts Japan, hurts South Korea, hurts every American ally far more than it hurts China. The very weapon America built to contain China has misfired and is now hitting America's own alliance system. The second layer is the dollar. Here is something your financial news will not explain clearly enough. The entire American financial system, the reason America can print money, run deficits, maintain its military empire, rests on what economists call dollar hegemony. Oil is priced in dollars. If you want to buy oil, you need dollars. This creates a permanent global demand for American currency. This is the invisible tax that the whole world pays to America. For decades, the Gulf states recycled their oil profits, their petrodollars, back into American treasury bonds, American stocks, American real estate. This is what kept the American financial machine running. Now, Saudi Arabia has been in quiet negotiations to price some oil sales in Chinese yuan. The UAE has been doing the same. Iran obviously has been trading outside the dollar system for years. Every month that this war continues, every month that America looks like a destabilizing force in the Middle East rather than a security guarantor, the Gulf states edge slightly further away from the dollar system and slightly closer to Chinese-led alternatives. This war, which was supposed to demonstrate American power, is actually accelerating the erosion of the financial foundation of American power. The third layer is technology and manufacturing. While America is spending billions of dollars on missiles, on aircraft carriers, on munitions, on the enormous logistical cost of projecting military force 10,000 kilometers from its shores, China is spending its resources on semiconductors, on electric vehicles, on artificial intelligence, on green energy infrastructure, on the Belt and Road Initiative that is quietly binding the economies of Africa, Southeast Asia, Central Asia, Aya, and Latin America to Beijing. Every cruise missile that hits a target in Iran costs approximately $1 to $2 million. China is using that equivalent investment to build infrastructure that will generate returns for decades. This is the fundamental strategic divergence of our era. America is investing in destruction. China is investing in construction. And history tells us with brutal consistency which investment compounds better over time. The fourth layer is soft power and legitimacy. Think about how the world looks at America right now. You have a country that just days before launching this war was told by the Omani foreign minister that Iran had agreed to a nuclear deal. Iran had agreed to stop enriching uranium. Iran had agreed to full international verification. A diplomatic solution was within reach, and America attacked anyway. The United Nations Secretary General condemned the strikes. Dozens of countries condemned the strikes. The International Atomic Energy Agency said there was no evidence of an organized nuclear weapons program at the time the war began. In the eyes of the Global South, in Africa, in Southeast Asia, in Latin America, in South Asia, in the Muslim world, America has confirmed every suspicion, every fear, every accusation that has been building for decades. China, meanwhile, positioned itself as the voice of restraint, the voice of dialogue, the voice of multilateralism. China is not doing this because it is moral. China is doing this because it is strategically brilliant. Every time America bombs a country in defiance of international law, China's model of non-inference looks more attractive to the developing world. And the developing world is where the future is being built. The fifth layer, and this is the one that historians will write about most carefully 50 years from now, is Taiwan. Every military asset, every aircraft carrier, every F-35, every Patriot missile battery, every logistical supply chain that America is consuming in the Middle East right now is an asset that is not positioned around Taiwan. China has been watching very carefully. China's military planners are not watching this war to cheer for Iran or to cheer for America. They are watching this war to take notes. They are learning exactly how American air defenses perform under saturation missile attacks. They are learning exactly how the American military logistics system strains under the pressure of a sustained multi-front conflict. They are learning where the gaps are, where the seams are, where the system breaks. And if there was ever a calculation in Beijing about the window of opportunity for resolving the Taiwan question on China's terms, that window is being studied with fresh eyes right now. Now, I want to be honest with you because I am not here to sell you a simple story where China is the hero and America is the villain. History does not work that way. China has its own profound vulnerabilities. The Chinese economy is under enormous stress. The property sector collapse, the youth unemployment crisis, the demographic decline. These are real. Xi Jinping needs external victories to maintain internal legitimacy, and a prolonged period of American overextension in the Middle East serves that need almost perfectly. But the deeper point is this. In the game of geopolitics, you do not need to be strong everywhere. You only need to be strong where it matters. At the moment it matters. And right now, China is conserving its strength while America exhausts its strength. That asymmetry sustained over a decade is how empires change. Let me bring this back to something human because I think we lose our humanity when we talk only about strategy. There are children in Iran right now. Children who are 8 months old, who are 5 years old, who are 10 years old, who have been killed in these strikes. There is a girls' school in a southern Iranian city where more than 170 people were killed, most of them children. There are over 24,000 injured in Iran. There are families in Israel living in bomb shelters again. There are American mothers who have lost their sons in Kuwait, in Bahrain. There is Lebanon being torn apart for the third time in 20 years. Real people, real suffering, real grief. And above it all, in clean offices in Beijing, in comfortable conference rooms in Shanghai, in investment banks and trade ministries across China, there are people who are simply doing the math, signing contracts, building infrastructure, filling the vacuums that war creates. That is the cold, unsentimental reality of how great power competition works. It has always worked this way. The question is not whether you are comfortable with it. The question is whether you understand it. So let me conclude with the question that I think matters most. Not for China, not for America, not for the governments and strategists and analysts who get paid to think about these things. The question that matters most is for ordinary people everywhere who are watching this war unfold and trying to make sense of it. The question is when this war ends, and it will end because all wars end. What world will we have built? If America emerges claiming victory, but having spent another $3 trillion, having lost more allies, having accelerated the decline of dollar hegemony, having provided China with the strategic breathing room to consolidate its position across the developing world, was it a victory? If Iran is bombed back by decades, its infrastructure shattered, its people traumatized, but its revolutionary ideology now spreading to every young Muslim who watched a girls' school get bombed on live television. Was it a defeat for Iran's idea? If Israel achieves tactical military dominance, but finds itself more isolated internationally than at any point in its history, with its single indispensable ally weakened, and its normalization with the Arab world set back by a generation. Was that a win? And China did not fire a shot. China did not lose a soldier. China signed trade deals. China built roads. China watched and learned and waited. That is not heroism. That is not morality. That is simply strategy, executed with patience and discipline over decades. And whether we admire it or fear it or resent it, we had better understand it. Because understanding it is the only way any of us in any country, in any culture, watching any screen, can begin to ask the harder question. Not who wins this war, but who gets to define what winning means for the next 100 years. Thank you.
একাই বেঁচে আছে। দেখা যাক উনি কি পারবে আমাদের সবাইকে। আমরা ল্যান্ড আমরা নেমে গেছি। এভাবে আমি আবার পিকেতে নেমেছি।
Help me!
Guys, একটু লাগা দেখা যাক ম্যাচটাই বাজে গেছে। আমার পাশে অনেক দেখা যাক গাইস আমি কি পারবো। দেখা যাক গাইস, ভালো লাগছে না, অনেক রাত হয়ে গেছে, আপনার জন্য ভিডিও বানাচ্ছি। ভালো আছেন তো আপনারা সবাই? না, ভিডিওতে লাইক করে দিন সবাই একটু করে। গাইস আমরা আবার নামতেছি। Guys, আমরা নতুন একটা ম্যাচে চলে আসলাম। আপনারা আপনারা কি ফ্রি ফায়ার এখনো খেলেন? আগের মতো খেলতে ভালো লাগে কিনা ওইটা কমেন্ট বক্সে জানিয়ে দিতে পারেন। আমি সবার কমেন্টে রিপ্লাই দিয়ে থাকি। দেখেন আপনারা সবাই আমার চ্যানেলটি সুন্দরভাবে, আপনারা যদি সাপোর্ট না করেন তাহলে আমরা আগাবো কীভাবে? আপনারা তাই সবাই মিলে একটু সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দিন চ্যানেলটিতে। দেখা যাক গাইস কিছু করতে পারি কিনা।
Enemy spotted!
Help me!
তোরও গাইস পিছন দিয়ে মারা দিচ্ছে দেখিনি। এ প্লেয়ার তোরও বাজে প্লেয়ার কোনো কথা। ও ওরাই আমার বার্তা ছিল তখন ধরে। আবার নামতেছি রিভাইভ হয়ে ক্লক টাওয়ারে। ক্লক টাওয়ার আমাদের পছন্দের ক্লক টাওয়ারে।
Go for the arsenal!
রিভাইভ প্লেয়ার আসতেছে রিভাইভ। দেখা যাক আমার প্লেয়ার আমার রিভাইভ দিতে বললাম, রিভাইভ দিয়ে দিছে অলরেডি। চলেন আবার নামতেছি। আবার নামতেছি।
Enemy spotted!
Go for the arsenal!
গাইস আমার কাছে শর্টের গান নেই। ও ফাইবার বেস্ট নিয়ে নিবি। এখনো আছে আমার কাছে লেভেল 5 এর বেস্ট।
Head there.
দেখা যাক কি হয়। আমি এখন এই জায়গায় যাব।
Capturing the bubble airdrop.
গাইস চোখ টুক ব্যথা হয়ে যাইতেছে, সেগুলো তোমাদের জন্য ভিডিও বানাইতেছি। সবাই ভিডিওতে লাইক করে দাও, সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দাও। আসতেছি গাইস।
Enemy spotted afar.
চলে এসেছি গাইস। দেখা যাক গাইস। দেখা যাক গাইস আমি পারবো। ম্যাচটিকে ফুয়ার কাছাকাছি নিয়ে যাওয়ার জন্য এই জোনের মধ্যে এখনো 24 জন অ্যালাইভ আছে।
Hold up. I'm coming.
Enemy spotted.
ইয়ার
Help me. Triple kill.
আরে